Okay. And that needs to get changed. Okay. So we are live on the air now. I had some technical difficulties of a massive proportion. Please reload. Okay. I think this chat actually might stay the same chat. I'm not sure.
Can you post a link?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to there now. Like everything crashed on me. So what happened was my power supply got yanked out of my MacBook. So
the way my live stream account is set up.
Yeah, right. There's Dilliot. He's back in the house. So let me go to my channel. So we are live. And give me just a second, people, and I'll have everything set right back up. And you guys can all cuss me out. It'll be wonderful. My channel. I'm going to my channel now. That was part 1. Let me see if I can post a comment on there. That's
Yo,
weird.
I'm kind of excited that all of my Beat People releases are now available on a Beatport.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of dope. It was kind of a surprise. I knew they were, working on that thing, but it's cool to see all that stuff is up there now.
Oh, here we are. So yeah, if people go to my channel, it should be at the top of the channel now. And
you got a channel? What's your channel?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not that cool. So we got 10 people watching now, so it's starting to build back up. Hopefully everybody can share this link. And hold on, I'm going to send it in our own personal chat area here so you guys have it. Okay. And let me just hit the Facebooks real quick.
I do not see a chat link anymore above the.
Yeah, I don't see the chat either.
Maybe when you send the link.
So you click on the YouTube and you should have it. Did you close your chat window? Because I never closed mine and it's still here.
It's still here, and I still see people there.
Yeah.
I think the stream takes place at the same place where it stopped at, I think.
Okay. Let me see. I'm just gonna repost this. And we'll get back to the show in just a second here once I kind of update this. Good Lord. Stop. Oh, my computer's going crazy. Too much activity.
Roger.
All right. So I posted it up in just like one other place. I'm sure other people can figure it out if they're smart. And if they're not smart, we don't want them anyway. That's what kind of people we are. We're elitists with broken streams. Broken streams and happy dreams.
Broken streams and happy dreams.
All right. So anyway, we're going to get back into this. We were up to 33 viewers and now we dropped back down to 15. So I'm sure people will figure out that the stream is back up. Yeah. If people share it with their friends, that will be good. Hold on. Chat with this. Let me just double check something. One last thing. Yeah, I mean the chat should still be there.
Nah, I guess I did a pop out and I closed that window, but you would figure that you could still go and
find it. Yeah, I don't know where the let me see if I can get the link to this maybe. Because I have it open, so I'm assuming that. Yeah, I don't know how else you would get to that chat. I'm looking at my history and I'm not seeing it.
That's a flaw.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
Really ugly one.
DeepMind in the Matrix.
Yeah, right.
No doubt.
Blue pill, red pill.
Huh.
I hope the desktop module has a little more I/O. Then you could really get the DeepMind in the Matrix brute.
Well, I mean, really, I can't. I don't really know how much more I/O you would want. I mean, yeah, audio inputs would be cool, but you don't really need separate outputs per voice because it's outputting the same stuff.
Well,
it's not multi-timbral. So
thinking CV.
Yeah. Well, it does have one CV input,
but no output.
Yeah, it would be cool to have like 4. So
4 in, 4 out.
Yeah, and if people are watching, if anybody knows how to get the chat window back for everybody, or knows like the link to the chat, let us know, because I have it up, but I have no clue how to tell people what the link is. I'm trying to click on it and it's got like a little lock symbol on it. I wonder if I should close my chat, but then if I close it, will I ever get it back?
I don't think you'll get it back. That's why we don't have it.
It says Safari is using encrypted connection, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to tell me nothing. Not going to tell me nothing. Maybe if I go to live control room, maybe it'll give me some access to that.
Oh, so if you go, I got it. So if you go back to the original stream, the chat is there. And so you can go ahead and pop it back out.
Okay, so there you go. So everybody go back to the original stream, pop out the chat, and then come back here, and you should be good to go.
I just went to back to your YouTube channel and clicked on the original stream, and right above the suggested videos is to pop out the chat. I popped it out, and now I can, close that window and go back to what
Isn't that something? Always gotta mess with me. All right. Yeah, I just want to see if there's any way that I can post that link to people just so that they can easily get to it. That would be cool. But if not, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to keep the show moving for everybody that's watching. So, okay. Yeah, everybody else, share with your friends how to get to the chat. And, all you people in the chat, tell other people. So anyway, let's get back to the subject matter at hand. Yeah, so Venetian Snares has a new analog LP, and it's so ace. Yeah, I'm hoping to have Aaron on the show, on the Synth Summit show very soon. So that'll actually be a really cool interview, and hopefully we can maybe even convince him to get some live performance stuff going. Venetian Snares is dope. I highly recommend it. Anyway, getting back to this stuff. So what I was doing before I was so rudely interrupted by life is... So right now what we have is just a... the mod, the pitch mod is sent to envelope 3. And so that's Aftertouch. Okay, and what else can we do? Let's go back to edit window here. We also have, you can set the wheel amount. So wheel pitch mod. And I can turn that up. Let's use the slider here. And that now my mod wheel is doing that good stuff.
I got to say, I really appreciate how all of the on-screen parameters are spelled out in some form. Like even when they get truncated, like on the effect screens, you can still see the full name of that parameter when you select it. I have so many problems with synths that have tiny screens on it and they have to abbreviate everything.
Analog 4.
Good example.
Well, my machine drum was like that a lot. And it's like you got to go look at the manual every time you edit a voice. It's like, what are you doing here?
So we're getting a question about the mod button next to the envelopes. So there's I think just two. Yeah, there's two mod buttons on here. All right. So let me kind of adjust the camera a little bit. So what we have here is we have a mod here and a mod here. Now mod here is for, this is your mod destinations and everything. So if I press that, we'll go into the mod matrix. If I press this, it's our third envelope, which is our modulation envelope, which is freely assignable. Let's scroll or zoom in a bit here. And let me actually really zoom in so that you guys can see this well. Excuse me. I'm a terrible human being. I got to stop coughing.
You need more bourbon.
Dude, honestly,
Now that you mention it.
That's right.
yeah, that you done did mention it. So yeah, that's
what are you drinking tonight?
which bourbon?
Yeah.
Which one is this actually? Hold on.
It ain't Balcones.
I wish it was Balcones. This is all I have left, and I savor what I have left.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, it's really a bad situation.
That's sad.
So yeah, this is, shoot, it's not Makers. What's the other one? It's not Knob Creek. It's
Weller, Old Granddad.
no, it's oh god damn it. Woodford Reserve.
Woodford. Okay.
Yeah. So I decided I would switch it up a little bit. And I went with the Woodford this time. Anyway, so the mod button, when I press mod, I get this mod matrix here. Okay. And this is where we can obviously assign sources, destinations. As I said before, we have 8 slots. All right. So let's say we want to do the mod wheel, and we'll change the depth amount. I'm going to use the fader to do this. It's much easier with the fader, in my opinion, for large increments. So we'll do full 127. Destination, LFO rate, LFO delay. Well, I'm not even going to say it because you can just read it right here. Look, it tells you what I'm doing. So
I love that.
yeah. So
8 modulators.
That's pretty awesome that you can do that. Let me
and remember, like you said before, you can use the data entry now to slide through those pretty quickly.
Oh yeah,
the data entry slider.
you can slide. Not only can you slide through for your adjustment, but your actual piece here. Like, you know, if I just scroll through all these different,
all the destinations.
Yeah, these are all the destinations that you have here. So let's go ahead and we'll do this as VCF frequency. Okay. And then I'm going to go down here. I'm going to do, oops. Let's actually do, what do we want? We'll do resonance here. And this is going to be negative. And we'll do mod wheel. So we get that positive negative sweep. Oh, and I still have the let me turn this off. I still have that funky stuff going down. So let's take this off.
Oh, the aftertouch.
Yeah. And wheel. Yeah, I had the wheel on here too. So let's do that. Okay, so back to the mod matrix. And if I do this, oh, I have that up full. Do this here. I don't know if I have this up loud enough. So you can easily map this stuff out. Let's let me go back to initialize patch here. Filter.
Ladder?
Oh, hold on. Before you go to the filter, Ken,
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about that, the mod envelope button. Somebody's asking about it. Go a little bit more in depth. It looks like that's just a place where you can assign.
It's literally a third. It's a third. I'm going to press the button for it now. Okay. And when I press it, it's a third envelope. All right. And then in that screen, we have, you can set your curves here. and your amounts. So let's go ahead and if I just, so this is with everything down, all the faders down for it. Let's bring up the decay. All right, back down. So this is, there's like nothing. If I bring it up, you can see the decay curve. If I bring sustain up, release, all right. So let's say you want to adjust the curves. You can change your curves right here. So if I go down here, I can actually adjust this stuff. Let's do the release curve. So can you see this? How it's changing it from?
Yeah.
So you can actually change it to like an exponential curve, positive and negative and linear, and you know, so you can actually really kind of play with your curves on this thing. Pretty crazy. So
can you assign that envelope in that window?
No, you have to go back to the mod menu.
Yes, you can.
Can you? Well, you can assign it to the loop and stuff there, loop sequence.
Yeah, so you can do like so you can do the looping whatnot. And then I think you press
LFO 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think you do have to go into the mod matrix to do that.
Be handy if you could do it from there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think you can sync it. You were asking if when you put it on loop, can you sync it to like quarter notes and time signatures?
You can set it to sequence though, and then you can have your sequence set to your tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in that case you could do it that way. And then let's see if I mod. We'll do envelope 3. We'll do like there. We'll do like LFO 1 rate, and then we'll have LFO 1 is going to be, shouldn't have done that. It's all your fault. LFO 1. Bring this up, and that'll be our filter, just so that you guys can hear this.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that makes sense. If you sync the envelope to a LFO rate, and then the LFO rate is syncing to the beat, to a tempo.
That's true, yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Oh.
And that's how you make dubstep.
Word.
Yeah, there's rate.
And then
Key sync, ARP sync. Yep.
Cool.
So yeah, or LFO
Okay.
rate, and that makes sense that you can do it that way.
Yeah, so going back to a initialized patch here, what are some of the other questions that we had?
I have one more quick question about the mod matrix. In the destinations, can you do the individual DCO 1 and 2?
I just
That's all you
somebody
got.
asked me to close my chat, so I closed my chat, and maybe that reset the chat. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. We'll find out. Say that question again.
Just wondering if in the mod destinations that you can affect the individual oscillators, or is it just the pitch for both at the same time?
Let's see. I'm seeing oscillator 1 and 2 pitch, oscillator 1 pitch, oscillator 2 pitch.
Cool. So
oscillator
you can
1 PM depth, PWM depth. Yeah. So you pretty much you can send it to the destinations of each one of those knobs, basically.
Sweet.
And with that, you have 8 sources of modulation to send all the places you just talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. I was just talking to Ken about how many destinations it were. It's like mind-boggling how many destinations.
Wow. Now, those 8 modulators, are those 8 modulators can be assigned to different tempos, different frequency rates? All 8 can have their own speed?
Nah, I don't think so. You have to send them to, I see like LFO rates and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're assigning the LFOs, you could sync those, but
yeah.
but the modulation
individual
okay.
rates for the you'd have to the destinations, you can assign it to a destination that has a rate that's syncable.
Okay. Gotcha.
So you could theoretically, scroll through beat divisions using an LFO to, kind of move through like quarter note to 16th note to 32nd.
Right.
Yep.
If that, whatever rate it was modulating was synced to the clock.
Right. So I'm thinking, okay, so but for what I understand what you guys are saying, I can have a quarter note on modulation 1 sending where I want to go, and eighth notes on modulation 2 going where I want to go, and 16th on that third modulation going where I want. I can't have that. Is that
Not
pretty
that
accurate?
Not that I can see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
accurate.
think maybe
I can see it.
Okay.
we have to dive into the sequencer to see if we can do stuff like that.
Gotcha.
That's
All
what
right.
I'm curious is can the sequencer
See,
how many channel or how many lanes of sequencing do you get? Is it just note and velocity? Are there other motion controls you can do, or can you program multiple sequences that are mod sources?
I just want to say real quick, I blame Jacob over at Roland Canada, who told me to close my chat.
Oh,
so
And
go
now
back to
I don't
go
have
back
access to the chat.
yeah, go back to your channel and click on the original live stream video. The chat will be there.
Oh, I did, and it's not
Oh,
here.
it's not there?
No.
Oh, that's
So I want to blame Roland Canada for sabotaging.
sabotage. That's messed up.
it's a
That's
Canadian conspiracy.
it's basically what it is. I mean, we all knew that it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. So, let me, I'm gonna mess with that some more. Corey, why don't you dig into that sequencer area again? And again, I'm just gonna recap for everybody who joined in later on. Corey at B-Boy Tech Report is sitting there. He has a DeepMind 12 in front of him as well. So, Corey, why don't you dig into that sequencer and start telling me what you're seeing, because I have the screen up here and of it, and you kind of tell us a little bit about what you're finding out inside of there while I try to set
key
this up.
sync. Obviously, you can do key sync. Then there's octaves. You can do up to 6, down to 1. Then there's mode. What modes do we have? Up, down, up and down, up inverted, down inverted, up down inverted, up alternative, down random, as played, chord. So that's cool. So chord enabled arpeggiator. That's pretty dope. Then you have hold. You have clock divide. So you got your divisions down to half all the way up to 48. And then let's see. The rate, BPM, swing. Oh, what's the swing go to? 75. I think that's pretty typical. And pattern. So there's only one pattern here. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, was it 32? So there's 32 presets, and then 32 user presets separately from that.
Okay. And can you duplicate one to the other user?
Actually, I'm pretty certain you can. You can probably hit edit. Let's see.
So that way, like say if you had a riff going on user preset 1, you want to do a variation, you can copy it over to 2, have that variation, blah, 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 then track that to tape scenario.
I haven't tried it, but it makes sense that it would do that. I'm gonna have to try it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the question is, are the patterns patch specific or global specific?
Right.
Good question.
I believe they're patch specific. I know that
that would be awesome.
I know that the chord settings are all patch specific as well. So that's Corey. Why don't you talk a little bit about the poly chord setup? Because I know you were reading the manual about that.
Yeah, so the poly chord setup is pretty dope. So you all know, obviously, like with chord memory, it is the way you hit the chord mode, you bring up the chord mode, and you can go ahead and program a chord. It can go up to 12 notes, obviously, because it's a 12 voice. So you can program a chord. As far as I understand, when you program that chord, like that's a chord, I don't know, where the C major, right? So then you got C major, and you can kind of transpose it, basically hitting one key, hitting the C major, and it transposes. You're basically triggering that same chord over and over. But with polychord, what happens with polychord is that you get the opportunity to transpose, or you get the opportunity to program multiple different chords to different keys. So you can essentially have your whole song planned out and, you know, put all of your chords on a separate key and then be able to go through and play those separately. And, you know, so it's not just like the one chord across all keys. You can do multiple chords across different keys. And that's what the polychord mode. So that's why I've looked into it. I'm actually, once I get a chance, I'm going to like pull the manual up, read it as I'm trying it to really dig into it, because I think that's kind of dope, especially for, you know, I can imagine that'd be dope live performances, and it might be really dope for guys that are more programmers than players.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Does
really
that also integrate with the arpeggiator?
Well, yeah, it does have chord mode on the arpeggiator. Like you can.
I was wondering if you can program all the keys with different chords, then can every chord actually play the arpeggiator?
Yeah, because one of the modes is chord, so I'd be interested to see how that interacts with
Yeah,
it. Right?
I would think that it would be one or the other.
Thinking some like epic progressive trance.
It would be.
Right.
But yeah, I would think that would be more of a one or the other scenario. Like you're either in chord mode or you're in you know, arpeggiator mode like that. I don't know. I have to let me see here. We'll do this. This you hit record, and it says stored, and then press trigger. Okay. So now exit. And then if I hit on. Yeah, I think that's one or the other. Yeah, I think it's one or the other.
Still actually pretty cool.
Yep.
What does the pattern do?
That's good. I imagine it's like a switch in swing time or something. Yeah, it's like a switch in like gates, I guess.
Oh, that's...
So, and there is a
it's
hold
pretty
button as
badass.
well. So you can do.
Change the mode to chord.
So that's a hold button there, and then. And of course, you can use that stuff to modulate as well.
Yeah.
Are you guys monitoring the chat? Because I don't have access to it.
I can't see it either.
I wonder if the chat is gone, man, because the last thing I saw was, can you tell us more about the mod button?
Yeah, that was way back.
Yeah, there's nothing else.
So everybody who has
shit.
a chat can feel free to talk trash on us because we can't see the chat. And I blame,
but we will later.
I blame Roland Canada, and the only way I'll accept an apology is if they send me a System 8.
I know that's right.
Or just start creating more of those digital modules that they were doing. I love the digital modules.
They need to make an 808 version of that 909 they just came out with, boutique style.
You think?
I would like that. I would like that.
I do have a drum brood on the way. I'm excited for that. I know Corey has his, because Corey actually did some of the sound design for it. He did some of the patterns that are in it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Now, let me think. How can we handle this chat? So does anybody have access to the chat?
Yeah, it's gone on my side.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gone on my side too.
What about you, Winston?
I haven't had it since we started the new stream. I
right.
lost
Well, I
it
am
with,
getting comments on the YouTube channel, so I can at least use those. M. Wilson says that he can't see the chat either. And yeah, I think it's an inconvenient truth. That we have no oh man. Yeah. So such is life. Yeah. I can't find it anywhere else. Anyway, so I'm just gonna move on, and everybody has different ways of messaging me. Jacob is watching. Rowan, Canada. It's all your fault. Tell you again. But yeah, you can send me messages however else you want to. You can hit me up on Facebook, on any one of the links, whatever, and we'll answer the questions through there. Or you can just comment on the video, and I get instant notifications from that too. So moving forward, let's talk about gate time on that. So it looks like if we turn the chord off. So you do have direct control. Let me back this thing up a bit. We have direct control over this stuff.
Here we go.
Kind of do it like this here. And with the direct control of this, we have rate and gate time here. So with the gate or rate. So you have direct control right from the front panel, and that adjusts your BPM. Control sequencer, enable. And then, of course, you would want to map that stuff out. Let's go and talk about you want to dive into some of the effects, man, and like just kind of show like some of the range of these things. I mean, or do you want to get into the filter?
Filter world, filter.
Okay. All right. So raw tone filter, right? Because really effects are cool, but it's analog and people want to know about the analog, right?
That's right.
All right. So we're going to come back over here so that you can see it a little bit better. And let's just, so we're going to do just a straight sawtooth, and I'm going to bring in some sub. That way we have a little bit more to play with. And VCA, I'm going to take, So let's just go ahead and start freaking the funk. No resonance. Here, I'll move my freaky fingers out of the way. And then we'll bring the resonance up. And I'll show you something that makes me really happy.
No thanks, Ken. No steps.
So no stepping at all. And just because I get a lot of hater comments about when I bring up filter stepping, and people who think that they're smart asses. Oops, sorry, that was Matrix Brute yelling at me. It gets jealous sometimes. So dude, Matrix Brute has so much attitude.
Play with me.
Sometimes it'll just like scream at you and let you know, dude, you need to be over here. Matrix Brute is absolutely awesome. So I'm turning on my Prophet 12 right now. And I just want to do a quick comparison of digital control over analog filters.
Let's do it. I want to see this.
I'm going to show you the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it.
Oh no.
So let me get this thing set up here. I'll set up a blank patch on the Prophet 12 as well.
Filter showdown.
And I should probably have a keyboard to play it, because I just unhooked the Keylab, which was MIDI to it. So hold on. I got the MIDI cable right here. Somewhere. Oh, there it is. Hiding in the back. So I'm going to try and use the DeepMind for the first time as a MIDI controller. So we should go here. And I should probably turn on. Bear with me now.
All right.
All right. So I've never done this before, so I have to set up to get this thing reading MIDI. Let's see where I have this thing. All right. So we're going to go to global, and then I'm going to go to MIDI settings. Yes. And then channels all on one. Soft through. MIDI USB. Yes. Where is... I know that there's a way to turn off local control, but I don't know where it is.
What you trying to turn off?
Hit the button again.
Oh yeah, duh. See, that's how new I am to this thing, man. So we're gonna go. So actually, no, that's where I would have thought it would be. That's now we're in connectivity.
It seems like all those soft buttons under the screen, though, you can hit them more than once to page through different options.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Oh, here we are. Hold on. I think keyboard settings, local off. Okay, and panel settings, local. I'm gonna keep that on for now. Oh, another thing that I do on here that I noticed in some of the other reviews that is kind of BS, and I don't know why they didn't address it more accurately, is they talk about the noise of the fan on the DeepMind 12. And when you do initially get it, the fan setting is set to 64 and you can audibly hear the fan moving. Now, I've had a lot of conversations with Midas about this. And the truth is that technically speaking, it can run perfectly fine without the fan on at all. It's actually overspec'd so that it doesn't run so hot that it requires a fan. It does not require the fan. However, they still recommend that because they had already built it with the fans and the metal work, so they kept that stuff in. He says, we have them there really more for like really hot climates and stage environments, that sort of thing. And he said, I still recommend, running it just because it's there, why not? And what I found is I set my fan setting to like 34, and with it set to about 34, you can't hear the fan at all, but you can still feel just a little bit of air moving across it. That's how I set mine. So I keep my fan set to 34 and you can't hear it and it's not an issue.
What's the intake?
What do you mean?
Like, where's the air coming in from? It's pushing air out, right?
So let me see if I can raise this up. See the air slots?
Yeah. I'm just wondering if that's going to... Is that going to accelerate the accumulation of dust inside if you run the fans? I mean, if you're in a studio environment,
I highly doubt that
cool enough, like you
highly doubt that there's an air filter on there.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you get the inside of your computer after you've been running the fans for 6 months without touching it.
To open this up is not exactly difficult, and I do plan on doing that later on, opening it up and showing what the circuit boards look like and all that. So it's just a few screws on there, and just like a computer, you just take a can of air and spray it out. I mean, that's not the end of the world.
And that fan's easily serviceable?
It's a PC fan, just like anything else, So I wouldn't expect it to be too big of a deal. And like I said, even if it broke down from everything that they were telling me, it really wouldn't be an issue anyway.
Okay.
That setting that fan down makes a huge difference. Like, okay, it's on if you're not paying close attention. Okay, you could imagine it is maybe something else in the studio, whatever. You may not even notice it much, but when you turn it down, then you realize just how loud it was.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I set mine to 34, which was like, you can actually set it lower than that, but like I wanted to get it to where I still felt that there was adequate airflow and you just can't hear it, what was the other thing I was just saying? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Something important too. Dag on it.
It was about the fan that you could just buy one of the fans, typical fan.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
fan.
The warranty. It's a 3-year warranty on the synthesizer too.
Mhm.
So, which is a lot longer than just about any other synthesizer I've seen.
I'd say with the fan on it, it's not recommended for smoking studios.
Yeah, well, yeah. I would say you probably shouldn't be smoking anyway. So
True that. True that. No, I agree.
just drink bourbon and kill yourself that way.
And vape.
So
I'm gonna go get a bourbon. By the way,
you need to.
I
be
need to.
honest.
I'll be right back.
Oh, you know what? I know why it wasn't playing. I had it plugged in the wrong slot. There we go. Profit.
That Dave Smith sound.
Okay, so you guys can hear that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so give me just a second. Let me make sure I have a fresh blank patch here. I believe it is, but I just want to be sure. There we go. All right, now. So I'm going to move this over. And for all the people that tell me that I'm stupid and that, no, that's just the sound of harmonics being picked out by the filter and this kind of crap.
But why does it
I got
sound
news for you.
crappy?
I'm not
Right?
dumb. And yeah, don't try to send me stupid emails saying something like, "Oh, that's just how analog filters sound." No, not at all, douchebag. Let me explain something to you. An analog filter does not grab harmonics per semitone like perfectly every time. It doesn't work that way. So to give an idea of the difference here, I'm going to bring that resonance up here, good 75% or so. Now, listen as I slowly turn this down.
It's like a chromatic scale.
It is. It really truly is.
Now, listen. That is not grabbing harmonics. That is
It's like a chromatic smell.
course,
On a scale.
it's a coarse non-slewed knob twist there. Now, there are pros and cons to doing that, okay? Pro to that is you can easily pitch the oscillator. Yeah, Balcones over there. You can easily pitch the oscillator, right? And then filter it and then key track it and play the oscillator. That's a benefit. However, there should be an on-off switch for that if you're going to do that. If you're going to claim that that's the reason why you did it, there darn well better be an on-off switch for me doing that, okay? Now, contrast, let's come back over here, and I'm going to well, here, I'll just turn the volume down on the Prophet, and then global, local on. Okay, now we're back to the DeepMind, okay? And again, I'll do the same. I'm going to have DeepMind resonance set kind of similar. And let's drop it. Drop it. Now, you can hear how some harmonics are being picked out, but it's not stepping in between them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Literally, my hand control is more steppy than the knob is.
Right.
You got steppy hands.
You know, honestly, and my wife almost left me over it.
You know, one thing I love about the Ultranova is that the filter cutoff on that big knob, it's got acceleration to it, and it's super smooth at the same time. But you know, if you twist it fast, it does really quick motions on the cutoff. But then if you twist it slow, it's like very like drawn out. It would be cool if there was an acceleration mode that you could set on that filter, being that it's a slider.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I wanted to bring up is one of the reasons it irks me so much on the Dave Smith stuff that does that is that, so when digital filtering came around, everybody got really ticked off because of zippering and this and that. And then it was like, oh, well, let's go back to analog because digital is not good enough, this and that. But then the digital guys learned how to get around that problem a long time ago, right? But now you got the analog guys that aren't getting around that same problem. And it's like, well, you went analog to avoid that issue, but now you have that issue. It's like, what the hell? So, and I already did get one dislike on this stream right after I started talking about this filter stepping. So that's how much like the fanboy action is. That's how real it is. Yeah, which I so don't care.
They gave you the wrong.
Yeah, let me get my hate me now attitude on, because like to me it's a big deal because I actually do use really slow high resonance sweeps often because I do sound design. So I know some guys are like, oh well, if you're playing in a band it's not a big deal. Yeah, but you know what, if you're playing in a band you don't necessarily need a $3,000 synthesizer, do you? You know what I mean? You could be up there with a motif or something, you know.
Another $3,000 synthesizer.
Right. Yeah.
Montage.
Well, yeah, but yeah, exactly. So, and Corey's got issues with the montage as is. So, talk about menu.
I got a question for the Prophet 12 though.
The montage is crazy, man. It's actually uninspired.
I want it just for the FM, to be honest with you. But
the FM is dope, but then I mean, it's still, you got to go deep into a menu to another menu to get to a menu where you can start to rearrange the operators and all this kind of stuff.
As far as the Prophet 12 goes, when you modulate the filter, say using the LFO or the envelope, does it still retain the steppiness, or is it only when you're moving the actual filter knob?
On the Prophet?
Yeah.
I believe it's just on the knob, and which is one of the things that irritates me. So I'll set that up real quick.
That is kind of a funny thing about it, right? But I guess it's to be more useful for key tracking.
Yeah. So let me do this real quick. Okay. So this is the Prophet that we're hearing.
Right.
I'll kind of bring this back over here. So, which again, I really like this synthesizer. I'm not hating on the synthesizer. It's just little quirks that irritate the living hell out of me. So what we'll do is I'm gonna mod.
I love that screen on it though.
The screen on this thing is amazing. I love the screen on this thing. I'm assigning to the filter cutoff. Once I get there, there's a lot of destinations on this thing too. There we are. So, sounds like I got some of the delay. Yep. Okay, so.
So the filter actually can do smooth sweeping.
Yeah, it can.
It just can't do it with the actual knob.
They use low resolution knobs and didn't slew the knob on that, you know, and that's really what the issue is. You get very little stepping with. So this is a triangle wave. Here we'll do. Oh no, so we'll do triangle and we'll slew the triangle. So it's more like a sine. You get a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, you can still kind of hear it hitting those pitches.
Yeah, you can hear it just a tiny bit, but you also hear it grabbing the harmonics too.
Yeah.
But I will say that this filter right here is not my favorite filter, just sonically. Like, so let's go back to this guy. And
hey, you know what, Ken? I gotta tell you, I really appreciate the screen for showing you the shape of the envelope. You know what I mean? Like the
shape of the what?
The shape of the envelopes. Right?
Yeah.
like it's the visual. That visual feedback means a lot. You know what I mean? I'm a visual person, so obviously you can adjust your envelopes and know what's going on. But there's something to the idea of just seeing that what the shape is, and even switching from the VCA envelope to the the VCF to the mod envelope. You get a chance, a real quick visual of what exactly the envelope is set to, and you can make some decisions right away.
Yeah, and I like the fact that all you have to do is hit the curve button and then adjust that stage of the of the envelope, and you can like drastically change the shape of it. That's really freaking cool, man. Like I can't think of any other synths around here that I have that that do it like that. I know that on the Ultranova you can modify envelope shapes, with mod destinations, and you can do the same, I believe, on the Prophet. But it's not as easy, and it's not as intuitive. Hold on, I'm getting some questions into the comment section here, so I want to. Okay.
Yep, that's dope. I like that.
And yeah, and see that this is the other thing. So Jacob comments. This is again coming from Roland Canada, the guy who sabotaged us.
What does he want to know?
So I should just send him a link to hop in here too. I wonder if he's got questions set up. So anyway, but he was just commenting. He was commenting that that it's odd that Dave Smith, the person that always says that stepping with MIDI isn't an issue, has that issue on his synth. And that's one of the other things. That's one of the reasons why I rib that situation so much, is because he's one of the guys who's constantly talking about it in if you've ever been to any of the conventions or anything where he speaks, he talks about how MIDI is still such a great platform, and you don't have to worry about that, this and that, and that's totally true if you implement it right. But continually I have MIDI issues with his gear, and I wish he would come on the show one day and just like kind of tell me that I'm an idiot, but
have you tried using the Ultranova filter knob through MIDI to control the Prophet filter?
I haven't, and that's mainly because in order to do the high resolution Ultranova knob, I believe it's a 14-bit control, and you have to do some fancy setup for it, and I've just never done that. It's just too much work to go through that,
I sent my Ultranova MIDI out to my JP8080, and it worked instantly. I didn't have to do any kind of MIDI programming, and it made the JP8080 filter really, really, really smooth.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of surprising. I prefer doing it that way than using the slider on the front panel.
Stop promoting Roland, man. They screwed us over.
Does anyone want to buy a Roland JP8080? I'm getting rid of mine.
Same note, if you want to talk about a company that kind of went above and beyond with implementation of knobs and that sort of thing, is the System 1, and also the Eurorack modules that Roland did, the digital ones. They use crazy high resolution in those knobs.
Yeah, 24-bit, 16 million steps or something like that.
Yeah, they're super, super high resolution knobs on that. And of course, you get no stepping in like those digital filters, especially like I have the Pro Mars plug out. Good Lord, man, you close your eyes, you cannot tell the difference between that and an analog filter. Like it's awesome, that and what was the other one? But yeah, I mean that stuff sounds awesome. The only time that I can ever hear like real digitalness in that thing is when you get up into like higher FM rates. Sometimes you can get a little bit of aliasing in it, but other than that, yeah, man, that thing is pretty kick-ass.
Did they ever solve some of those problems we talked about as far as the whole Dave Smith thing and the whole Tempest thing? Did that ever get fixed?
Oh, the firmware?
Yeah.
The OS update or something?
Yeah.
I don't know that they did. Well, wait, they did do an update, Ken, but did it address all the things though?
They did an update. They're still updating, actually. I don't think it's completely finished. I have to double check. I've been busy these past few weeks, and there has been a lot of work done on it. Roger Lynn has been very active in the forum, which is great to see. It's really nice seeing a little bit of humility there and them tackling it.
There's been a lot of stuff fixed in the latest beta. If you look at the release notes, they tackled about 40 of the 60 identifiable issues.
That's what I was about to say.
They tackled a lot of stuff. They fixed it.
So.
There's still a couple of quirks, but they're still in beta, so they're still working on it. And
there's still things that they had to outright come out and say, yes, that will never be right. That will never happen. There's certain things that
the glide in the digital oscillators.
Yeah, which is really kind of like the glide on the digital oscillators thing is really disappointing. But there's certain aspects of it that just kind of drive me nuts. And there's a lot of aspects of it that are just outright. They just didn't. They just used a processor that was just not powerful enough for what they were trying to do.
Wow.
And they stuck with it. But, it is what it is. I mean, I still absolutely love the Tempest. I think it's one of the greatest sound, drum machines, like drum machines, not sequencers, but drum machines ever made. Just because you can make such awesome sounds out of it. But external sequencing is still absolutely horrible. Don't ever try to buy it as like a hub for your gear because that's not what it is. Yeah, M. Wilson says filter stepping is some rookie shit. Yeah, well, jump on my bandwagon. I will ride this, this subject into the dirt. I will beat the dead horse and then eat the horse meat until that stuff changes. Now,
or until somebody brings you Scrapple.
You know what? Honestly, though, I could go for some Scrapple. Corey, you've got the Prophet 6 there. Have you tried it with the Prophet 6? Does it still step on that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
That high resolution does step.
Yeah, and you know what? One thing I will say is that I was really excited to see them move away from the Curtis filters that they've been using in the Tempest, Prophet 12, Prophet 08, Tetra.
I am not a fan of the Curtis filter.
Yeah,
it's just something about it I like.
Well, let me just clarify and say not all Curtis filters are the same Curtis filters. Like for instance, I've got a Matrix 1000 up here on the desk, and I don't know if you can see it or not. It's up here, but anyway, the Matrix 1000 Curtis filter sounds amazing. I love that thing, but the ones in the later DSI stuff just don't really do it for me. They're a little too pristine and clean. Some people will love that sound, and that's cool. But I was really excited to see them do the Pro 2.
Preference.
I'm actually dying to get a Pro 2. Like I want a Pro 2 badly because the Pro 2 has the SEM and the SSM filter in it, and I love those filters. Now let's get back to the DeepMind though.
Yeah.
Another aspect of the filter on here is that you have both 4-pole and 2-pole. So let's listen to the sound difference, right? So we're going to do resonance up about 75%. You get that sing-song kind of vibe. And it makes you want to do the filter mouth. Now let's go 2-pole.
It's very nice.
Now, when you're doing 2-pole, you can really hear it grabbing the harmonics. I actually tend to gravitate towards using filters in 2-pole. Even on my Moog, like I use the 2-pole mode more than anything else. We're getting another question here. So, yeah, like I really like the 2-pole modes. They tend to growl a little bit more, which is really cool. Either the ribbons or you assign it to a mod wheel, it's much smoother response. On the 12, you need 2 mods versus set to max. Yes, so Peter is talking about different ways of modulating it. I don't know if you caught earlier, but we did modulate it with the LFO. And yeah, there are ways of getting around some of that stuff, but it's still not the same as a slow filter sweep, just gratifying analog filter sweep, you know?
Right.
So anyway, we'll step off of the Dave Smith stuff because I do like his products.
Step off.
Holler. You like that? I was hoping that would only get caught in the comments. So anyway, one thing that I found about the DeepMind that I don't like quite as much, and maybe I just don't know the synth well enough yet, but I love overdriving my analog gear, and I'm finding it hard to overdrive the DeepMind analog style. You can do it digitally, no problem.
Okay.
But I'm finding it difficult to get the grit and crunch. So that's kind of, because this is kind of an easy way to do it. Like, so I have oscillators are all the way up now. Oh, and also over here, let me see if you guys can see this. So these 3 faders for the VCF, envelope amount, LFO amount, and then keyboard amount. Keyboard tracking for this filter is amazing. It tracks perfectly. So I like to get it like right where it's in tune with the oscillator, and then
I'm hearing the key ring after you let go of the key. Is that?
Oh yeah. So for one, I should show my mic is kind of like right by the keys.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of that. I did a Matrix Brute making a patch video the other day, and my lapel mic was literally like 4 inches from the keys, and people were like, "Oh, the keys are clacking." I was like, "Well, yeah, like, yeah, I'm just an idiot."
Okay.
Hey Ken, will you play the filter by itself?
Yeah, absolutely. How much you gonna pay me?
Bottle of bourbon.
Sweet.
That sounds really nice.
So can I just let me just make some sweet, sexy love to this thing real quick. We're gonna turn on some effects with the oh god, so sexy. So
Now let's get some chorus on there.
So internally, I'm hearing filters. You're playing 4 notes on resonance alone.
Yeah. So there's 12 filters in there.
Okay.
Actually, no. I'm wrong. There is 24 filters in here because technically you have high pass filter as well.
Gotcha.
So,
I thought the high pass was just a global.
no. It's per voice.
Really?
So like.
That blows my mind.
I'm pretty sure it's per voice.
That blows my deep mind.
So let me play with the effects just a little bit, just so you guys can get an idea. So we're just using sine wave of the filter. I don't know if it's actually in tune, but it just sounds good to me. So that's where I'm at. Amp verb. Now I was talking about overdriving this thing. There's a lot of different ways of doing it digitally that sound really freaking good. So this is one of them. So this is the amp verb. And then if I go into here, I can turn my diffusion down a little bit. Tail gain up. Let's go back to the effects here. Okay. My computer's acting a little crazy. This is the vintage verb. Trying to keep my arm out of the way here. Hall reverb. Chamber reverb. Again, there's like so many different types of reverb in here. Oh, I know one that people like. How about this? Let's go into this. This is the reverse reverb.
Oh.
And you can do a nice spread on it. And we'll set the gain. We'll do a longer decay. Very cool. Chorus verb. Delay verb.
That sounds very like air or frou-frou.
Yeah, exactly. Flange verb. And again, I'm only using the standard 1, 2, 3, 4 straight series effects chain here. Like you can go into it and really get crazy with it. Midas EQ, enhancer. There's a Fairchild compressor in here. Nice. Multi-band distortion. We'll go into that and we can kind of grid it up a bit. Tube distortion. And if I add in a sawtooth. So let's see what else. We'll do mid drive is going to come up a bit.
I don't know. It sounds like the envelopes click.
And then we'll do you got me. All right, cabinet. You can change the cabinets on here. There's a bunch of different cabinet styles. Do some dissonance. Awesome.
Ken, do me a favor.
Yo.
I'm kind of a flange whore.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want to do it with the oscillating filter, but maybe there's a patch you could throw some flange on.
Yeah, let's get there.
Go from like subtle to extreme.
Do you want some more harmonics on it so you can really hear it mess with that?
Yeah. I'm bringing that down. I just wanted to hear it before I changed it.
Gotcha.
Can you go to like airplane swoop?
Yeah, I'm gonna adjust this up a bit.
Yeah, who did this?
So yeah, you can get kind of crazy with it. And let's see. I think there's also. And then you have. Nice. There's a lot of phasers in here too. And then you got. Man, look. This filter is crazy. It's called the mood filter.
Mood or
yeah.
mode?
Yeah. mode filter. And when you go into it, so it's basically a filter, and you can select how many poles. Sound familiar, right? 2-pole and 4-pole. And then you've got it also has its own envelope, and I believe its own resin what do you call it? LFO as well. Yeah. So it's got, you can adjust the wave from sine to sol, ramp, square, random.
And those are syncable?
Maybe. I don't know.
That would be nice.
Type, bandpass, high pass, low pass, or notch. So right now I have no filtering is going on from the analog filters. And of course we can. Let's do. I'll actually take that back just a bit. Take that down here. Digital filters don't seem to be stepping either. Oh, Marco said I cut off Corey, and he said, "Why you got to cut off Corey like that?" Just so you know, I cut off Corey because otherwise he doesn't know his role, and then he gets all uppity. So
listen to Ken's describing himself.
Corey's one of those people that you have to cut off just to let him know. Just let him know. Like, oh, you think you hot?
Well, we always tell each other to boss up, so you know we gotta do what we gotta do.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just checking out the modulation on here. Again, I'm brand new to this thing too, so I'm exploring it as well. Let's try. We'll set the attack low, release low, and it's got to drive him in. Back to drive off.
I'm going to ask a really meta question. Can you self-oscillate the digital oscillator?
yeah, I think so, because that's what I was kind of doing. So let me put the resonance on. Oh, good God. Yeah. The answer is yes.
That's actually pretty amazing. If you
I'm bringing up slow and scared. Slow and scared. Here we go. Oh, God.
No margin for error.
Turning my headphones down.
So, yeah, I'm hoping I damaged somebody's ears. Somebody out there is going to send me a medical bill.
It was probably me.
So yeah, there's this wave, and I'm just trying to see what happens if I do it on random. Let's go up here. I'm gonna turn the speed up. Yeah, that's just a digital filter right there. Okay, so you can do that. That's something that you can do. This is dual pitch, and we can change pitch. This sounds to me like it will be very scary in unison mode. which you do have full control over Unison on this thing. Let me see. We're getting more questions, so. Okay. I'm trying to follow this stream now that we don't have the live chat, but it's really difficult. I'm also one of those people who has no clue what he's doing.
Hey Ken.
Yeah.
Who did the sound design? Do you know who?
Says High
who was on
Pass is
sound design
global.
team?
A lot of good people did sound design. I know that Div Kid Ben Ben Hex,
That's
he
right,
did
Ben.
some. I know that Richard Devine did some, but let's be realistic. What hasn't Richard Devine touched?
Of course. Well, you automatically expect Richard Devine to have
Yeah.
been on it.
A vagina.
I haven't looked into all the names of who did. I know Robbie Bronneman did some. But yeah, I've gone through some of the patches and it's just some really great work. So
really
hats
is,
off to
actually.
the sound designers. There's some really luscious pads in there, some interesting effects.
Does it sound modular?
Very inspiring.
Show me some modular patches.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear
I don't
it.
know. Apparently he explained himself in an interview about that, but
He did, but I still want to hear.
But you know what though? I'll tell you, I kind of get where he's coming from because there's a lot of modulation.
Well, here's what
in
I'll say to that.
Destinations and stuff.
I
And
thought about that quote for a while, and that information kind of came out while I was in the middle of sound design for the Matrix Brute, and I thought to myself, I think I commented to you, Corey. I was like, well, yeah, I can kind of see that because that's kind of how I was feeling about the Matrix Brute. And I will say that in comparison, DeepMind versus Matrix Brute, as far as how they sound, I would not say that the DeepMind sounds modular to me. I would say the Matrix Brute does. I would not. And to me, that sound might mean something different, than it does to somebody else because, let's face it, everybody's modular is different and, that different connotations can come with that. But to me, it's like an aliveness of the VCOs and, a type of, just the way that the certain sounds interact. The Matrix Brute has a character about it that's just unmistakably alive.
it is.
The DeepMind has a character about it that is much more in control. That's not to say one is better than the other as far as sound sonically. It just means that they are very polar opposite sounds. They just don't sound alike at all.
I kind of see the DeepMind 12 as almost a throwback synthesizer, but with many modern options. So you get that kind of tonal character that you might expect from like a Juno, doing like a Stranger Things soundtrack kind of song or any kind of really synth-based music. But you get all of this modern capability through the digital control that just kind of blows it out into something so much more complex.
Something new.
Yeah, you can do all of those really cool old vintage synth sounds, but then you can get into some really experimental territory very quickly.
See that's what I think the key is. When that whole talk about it sounds modular, it doesn't sound modular, I think that's the key. Like it's easy to get really experimental, and some of the patches in here kind of get experimental with all the modulation and effects and stuff. And I personally think that's the connotation that he was going for. Obviously, I can't speak for him, but I kind of got it when he said it. But modular purists are gonna be like, you fool.
Yeah, to me, it didn't affect
What does
me
that
when
mean? Every modular.
I just thought it was
sounds
kind of
different,
it was
right?
a funny
I
tagline.
dug it. I understood.
Well, wait. So can it do fart noises?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, then it totally sounds
definitely
modular.
Definitely bubbly
Don't forget
gas.
the drones. Got to be a drone in there somewhere.
You could definitely do bubbly gas. Like you've got proper VCF modulation, and you do have noise, white noise to modulate the VCF, which instant fart noise right there. So it's always important to hit that brown note.
So there are two LFOs, right?
Yes. So
they can
LFO 1, LFO 2,
they can
and
intermodulate.
You have a delay for that as well. Let me pull up the screen here that people can see it a little bit. This is actually a really useful function of the screen, is that you can actually see the so like if I bring up, here's the LFO, right? Here's the rate You can see as I raise it up, kind of does a pseudo oscilloscope looking thing. And then you can increase delay time of it for when it comes in, and it'll show you that.
So speaking of that, Ken, do you know one of the things about this screen and the way it's set up, where you got the delay and you can actually see what you're shaping? It's actually, I think, is a good learning tool.
Yeah, in the same way that I felt. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's one thing to know what you're fiddling with or to hear what you're fiddling with, but when you see it, there's something about that visual representation where you say, what if somebody was to come and say, what is delay time on LFO? Well, it's easy to just start moving it up. You start to see the front part of the wave flatten out, and you can really see what's going on. So I think that screen makes it a really dope learning tool for something at this price point, and to have that screen and the layout being kind of easy, although the DCOs don't have a bunch of waveforms or wave shapes. It's probably going to be a good learning tool for a lot of people, even if you kind of know synthesis but haven't gotten deep into it.
It's kind of a trade-off because and I know I keep saying I'm tired. I had a long day. Leave me alone. The Prophet 12 has a lot more flexibility in the oscillator section, but the filter isn't as nice. And the DeepMind has less flexibility in the oscillator section, but the filter is much nicer. So it's kind of funny because it's like I find myself not worrying about the oscillator so much on the DeepMind because I'm creating the sound over here through the rest of the synth.
Right.
Whereas on the Prophet, I'm kind of doing the opposite. I'm playing with the wavetable type stuff and the different waveforms on there and modulating things that way and working a little bit harder on the oscillator side to go that route. So it's an interesting fact that when I went to KnobCon, I was very much expecting it to not be in any way a competitor to the Prophet 12. But what I've come away from is saying it actually very much is a competitor to the Prophet 12. It just approaches it from a different angle, And the effects section, like on the Prophet 12, doesn't hold a candle, like not even remotely, like don't even look at it.
I have to say, I've been, lusting after DSI instruments for a while. I got a Tempest, and I love it to death. I don't think I could replace it. But when it comes to their polysynths, it seems like each one of them has their own limitations.
Yeah.
And they're kind of hard to overlook. And it's not limitations that are across the board. Like some of them do things better than others. So it's weird why they wouldn't.
I totally agree.
Why wouldn't they release a device that does all of the things that all of their synths do, or at least make all of their synths do the same things?
I'll say, dude, if the Prophet 12 had the filter section of the Pro 2, oh man, that's
but then from a marketing point of view, right? Then that makes you have to say stuff like, I guess I got to get that too.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that, and the OB6 the OB6 and Pro 6 are both really cool synthesizers that I like. Man, Corey knows I debated so hard between getting one of those two synths or both of them at one point, and then I just I wrangled myself in and I said, no, I need to chill out. But at the end of the day, they're great products. They're great products, and they're built in America, which I love that too. So
yeah, right, San Francisco Pro 2 is one of those. I find myself really like I'll be digging into Pro 2 videos and just kind of looking at like that is really like over the last couple months I've been like, now the Pro 2 is really dope. Like there's some stuff that people kind of sleep on that don't even realize.
Yeah, I totally agree, Corey. Watch at least half of the Mark Doty videos, and I'm like, it can do that. That's crazy.
Exactly. Like when he got into the sequencer section.
Oh yeah.
I don't think people realize just how crazy that sequencer is on the Pro 2 and how many lanes of modulation and
Do you want to, Ken? Do you want to play some presets or show us?
Yeah, I just figured I would kind of step through some presets and.
I want to hear what this can do.
Nice decay on that, you know.
Hey, try E40.
What's
It's a
that?
nice Rhodes. E40. It's a nice Rhodes.
E40.
E40.
Taking it West Coast, are you?
That's right.
Step right over to it.
Did we lose
I don't
someone?
know.
No, I'm still here. Still here.
Oh, lost your video.
There we go. Should be back.
Cool.
Now, one thing that I've been finding is that when I grab these Rhodes, a lot of the times I'm like, oh, you know, they're not dirty enough for me. Because I have a real Rhodes right next to me, but I always run it through a Vox amp because I like that kind of grittiness on my Rhodes. So I find myself going into the effects on here a good bit and then saying, oh, well, what do I want to do to kind of gritty it up a bit? They already got the rotary speaker on this one, which I love doing. When you go to the rotary speaker, I like adding a lot of distance. And then you can turn up the speed or slow it down. Octave down here.
I think in a mix, you wouldn't even really recognize that wasn't a real Rhodes.
Exactly. That's exactly why I told him to play it, because I mean it's pretty convincing. And I saw a video of what band is it? JD7. It's a band
JD
that was playing. Yeah, JD73. They were using it, and there was parts when they were playing Rhodes. Nobody, you can't tell. It really sounds like a Rhodes.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next patch is a Knobcon pad by STG.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get into that.
I played that patch. I got onto the DeepMind at KnobCon after STG got off of it. And he was like, I'm programming the first patch from KnobCon into this synth. And then I was like on Instagram, I played STG's post or his preset for the first ever after him.
There it is. So you played it the first time of anybody besides him. That's dope.
Very nice patch.
Yeah, it is. That's cool. It just has delay.
All right, Suit, you did a good job on that one. I'll talk to you about that later on. Suit and Tie Guy also makes some really great Eurorack modules. So he makes a freaking-tastic filter. Look, this filter right here. That guy right there. There. Everybody should have that filter. The Mankato.
Okay.
That filter right there is freaking awesome.
Is it based on something or is it its own design? Is it like a
based on straight up hardcore oral sex? And when I say oral sex, I mean AUR oral sex. So, no, yeah, it's a Thomas Henry. It's Thomas Henry design, and it just sounds fantastic. It's really, really cool. It's not like Moog. It's not like Sem. It's its own thing, and it's very cool.
Oh man, now I want to check that out.
They're kind of hard to come by in Euro, but they're definitely dope. So yeah, and you can see the voices going crazy over here.
It's like sets of 4 are going off at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna show one last thing before I kind of end the stream because my wife is going crazy up there with the kids. So what I'll do is let me just show this real quick. We'll do. Hold on, I'm gonna get a patch that works with it as opposed to just using a blank patch. Actually, here we'll do. All right, I'm using a blank patch. Okay, so Unison detune, right? If you hit edit, you can go into your voice unison modes and mono modes. So if you do 2, it's 2 voices. I'll back this off a bit so you guys can see it.
It seems like by default, a lot of them are set to Unison 4.
And
at least a lot of the ones that's played.
And I guess that helps it keep it polyphonic, not grabbing all 12 at the same time.
Hold on one second. Wife is yelling at me. So just to show you this one last thing. So the way that the Unison works is you can select how many voices you want. So say we want 3 voices. I can then play a chord. And it's using 3 voices per key that I'm pressing, right?
Yeah.
And then you can do the Unison detune. And you can do 4 voice. You can do 6.
And now those voices stereo panable at all?
Yes, yes. And then of course you can set oscillator drift and all that good stuff. And then there's and of course 12 voice unison mode. And then there is your mono modes. Now your mono modes make it a mono synth. But what you can also do is you can do mono unisons. So it's the same voices being used every time, re-triggered. So it's just like having a really big mono synth, you know, because you're not going to play chords. Right. It's so the key action is like a mono synth, but you're doing stacked. So you can do. Pretty cool.
So is there actual like oscillators slap?
Yeah,
it's a drift.
Yeah, it's called...
tell them about the drift. The fact that
so there's a really crazy aspect on it where it's not only do you have oscillator drift, right, which you can turn that up, and then you have a drift. You have an oscillator drift amount, and then you have an oscillator drift rate. But on top of that, you also have parameter drift, and parameter drift does things like it makes like your frequency and resonance and what else? Frequency, resonance, and a bunch of other stuff. Makes it unstable. Your VCA level, I think, as well. Makes it unstable. So you get this kind of vintagey type sound over your parameters, not just your oscillators. And you could do those separately from each other.
Right. Yes, oscillator 1 pitch mod, oscillator 1 PWM pitch mod. I mean, pretty much almost anything. Oscillator tone, VCF frequency, res.
Yeah, let's hear some of that.
I'm gonna go really extreme with it. This is with no unison detune. And then if I raise unison detune,
go even further.
So you can get really crazy with that.
You can totally go broken with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's a pretty unique feature, right? Do we know of any other thing that has that?
I don't know about parameter drift. I mean, oscillator drift is nothing new, but parameter drift, I
there's
haven't seen a
nothing new
lot
with
of that.
because
The
they call it-
System 1M, the System 1M emulates it. You know, but it's like a fixed thing to the emulations. It's not like something that you can adjust, you know?
right.
So with that, if anybody has questions and all, you can always hit me up. I'll move this around. Oh, by the way, shout out to Siglent, who just sent me out this oscilloscope to review and check out.
Hey, let me see that. Hold it up so I can see that, because I was talking to you. I want to get an oscilloscope. Let me see like the back, how deep it is.
All right, here, let me bring it over here so you guys don't see quite as much of my mess.
And we don't want to see your mess.
No, let's see all of the mess.
Oh,
No,
that's
Just
not gonna happen.
That's the mess.
So, but so it's
Damn
pretty slim.
Oh, nice. I gotta have it. It's really slim.
Yeah.
And it looks good.
This is one of the super phosphor oscilloscopes, so it kind of emulates that analog look. Right now I have color mode on, so you can't see it because it kind of washed out in the camera, but like it's blue with like red and white in the middle.
And how much are those going for? Like 300?
I can change
400?
that. This one is a little bit more high end. This is the 200 megahertz, but they also have 100 megahertz. And this is the super phosphor ones, which they have ones that aren't super phosphor, that don't look quite as pretty in here, but still have really big, beautiful displays. I'll have all the information about that stuff later. I don't really have all that info right here, right now. But yeah, it's pretty darn cool. Right now, it's actually checking out one of my oscillators going through the thriller filter right now. So that's what's running through it right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, I need one.
Yeah, it's definitely a very very useful scope to have, and you can do some really cool stuff with it that I'll be showing. And you can, of course, you can pause it, which is nice. So, which I can't do that on my analog scope. You guys probably can't even hear me, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
He heard you.
Okay. But yeah, you can you can do all the cool tricks of a newer scope. I've got an analog scope that I've been using for a long time, but that's nowhere near as nice as something like this. So, just very cool scope to check out. But so yeah, head over to shop.fluxwithit.com to show me that you love me, and and check out Beat People Podcast, the Producers Hangout, and the Synth Summit Show, and Dilly at 2K, and Balcones whiskey. I always want to say bourbon, but technically it's whiskey. It's corn whiskey.
It's single malt. It's single malt.
Where's our Christmas gift bags?
Corey, my bad.
Yeah, lost in the bill.
Corey, where are you anyway?
California.
He's out in LA.
Oh, you're not in LA. Oh, okay.
He can actually walk out to a store and buy it.
He actually could.
I can't do that in Delaware.
No, not yet.
Oh, is it distributed here?
Yeah.
Cool.
What part of LA?
Like, actually, I'm north of LA, but I work downtown.
Give us your street address and leave.
Okay,
this is where the synths are.
You know K&L Wines in West LA, Hollywood.
Sounds familiar.
K&L Wines, it's like one of the premier retailers in the country. They carry balcones, and you can actually order it online for delivery straight to you. There's also High Times Wine in Orange County. Handful of retailers across the Southern California region that carry balcones. So you can find it around there, and maybe you'll get lucky, and I'll just send you a bottle.
Word.
So guys, just so that everybody knows, what I'm gonna probably end up doing in the long run is I'll probably edit the two streams into one new video, and I'll probably upload that later on in the week. Just because it frustrates me when I have a part 1 and a part 2 like that. Maybe I'll leave them both and get double monetization, which will
There you
come to
go.
like 3
Well,
cents.
you know what tends to happen though, Ken? Just like we did with the drum beat people show with Glenn on there.
Yeah.
Part 1 gets all the views and part 2 gets partial views because
Exactly,
you know,
and
once
that's
it's
why
done,
I
people
like
gotta
just
go to
taking it
part
down
2.
and editing it together and putting it up as a fresh
Yeah.
video. You know, that's what I did with. I had a couple of shows that had crashed before, and that's what I've done in the past. But so thanks everybody for coming and hanging out.
Thank
What's that?
you.
I said, look at that DeepMind hiding under your desk.
I know that's right.
That is amazing.
So yeah, and I plan on doing. I did do a Q&A on the Matrix Brute, which is over here. There it is.
Nice.
So I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on the Matrix Brute as well. So if you guys have questions about the Matrix Brute, let me know. My idea is basically I'm going to be doing kind of like a patch a week, and just sound designing a patch on it and then showing my technique of it. And it won't be just like standard patches. Like some of them are going to be using modular along with the Matrix Brute. Some of them are going to be using the Matrix Brute as a sample box to like send my vinyl through or whatever else. So that stuff should be kind of interesting to check out. So definitely, you know, stick around and hit the subscribe button and all that good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So everybody,
Good seeing you,
thanks
Ken.
for coming through, and
Corey.
Dilliot 2K, definitely hop on his channel and subscribe there as well. And peace. I gotta hop off here now because my wife is gonna punch me in the neck.
Step off.
You should
All
not hop off and let us see her punch you.
All right, guys.
All right.
See you later.
Later.